Most people make this retirement mistake. Don't let it be you. Oh, it's so blindingly obvious once someone explains it to you, and I'm going to explain it to you here. I've done a video on this before, but I'm going to do it again because I still see some comments. I'm like, oh, man. All right, so let's go to my last video I did yesterday, which is right here. Look at I didn't shave. 2 years before retirement, do this, please. So I didn't shave, then I got my man Antonio Chevalier, who's French apparently, and I'm going to listen to what the French say, you know what I'm saying? He says, shave. I like you. Don't be like everybody else. You are better than that. I'm like, well, okay. Well, if Antonio says that, I'm going to shave. I'm not sure why Antonio cares all that what I look like. Antonio, I'm not a switch hitter, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I might be able to be convinced of that with enough scratch to think about it, but, you know, I'm not a switch hitter, if you know what I'm saying. So I appreciate the sentiments about my appearance, but I have to put a sign on there that says, nah, not this guy. All right, so let's keep going here. So we got my man, who's my man? Beach Bum, right here. I'm sorry, but this is just stupid. Stay 100% in stocks and you will be better in the long run. Don't be scared. The numbers do not lie. All right, so let's see what else. I like what Beach Bum says, though. He said, be prepared for down markets by having no debt, including paying off your home. I completely agree with that. Then my man Alpha Male, who's an alpha male, he says, why risk something you need for something you don't? And then this guy says, because most people will live longer than they think. Really? And overall, your money will grow more, and you'll have more money to enjoy and leave more money to your children. Wow, lots of mores in that. So we got to work on our sentence structure there, Beach Bum. I'm just goofing. I actually completely disagree. I think most people live less than they think. But anyway, let's keep going down. So he makes a huge mistake. We'll talk about that. Then we're going to go down to my man, Greggy Fresh. Greggy Fresh says, I've run many calculations on Portfolio Visualizer with 8% withdrawals every year with 100% mid-cap growth. Let me get my dog while we're talking here. With 100% mid-cap growth, and I always come out way better than with a 30-70 portfolio. I think it's way riskier to have bonds on your long-term gain. The bonds drag your profits down way too much. I'm staying 100% stock mutual funds all the way. If you don't, you will never keep up with inflation, and your money will be worth nothing in your later years. Okay, so I can almost guarantee you that Greg is not retired. Anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit about both these guys because they make fundamental mistakes. Mostly going to talk about Beach Bum because, well, first of all, the Portfolio Visualizer, Greg, only goes back to 1985. All right, so, I mean, you got, okay, if you want to use that, if you're 1985 and say, look, this proves, man, I'm going to run a scenario from 2009 to now. And so large cap tech stocks, that's the way to go. Why? Because look, from 2009 to 2024, it crushed. Yeah. All right. So we're going to talk about what Beach Bum says and Greg too about stocks all the time. And so what we have here is we're going to have a scenario, basically the modern era of investing, kind of is 1926, but we can go back to 1871, railroad stocks. And it's not really that, we're just going to use it for this experiment here. So we're going to go back to 1871, that's year one, and we're going to go to 1900, that's year 30. All right, that's 30 years. That's a good scenario for retirement, a 30-year time frame. Then we're going to say, so I'm running one scenario, and that was successful. Then I say, what if I retired in 1872, and I died in 1901, another 30-year scenario, and that was successful. What if I retired in 1873, and I died in 1902, another 30-year time frame, and that was successful. Thus, I can predict success based on these three models because every single time I ran a scenario, I was successful. The problem that people don't understand is this scenario has a 96.7% overlap with that scenario. This scenario has a 93.3% overlap with that scenario and a 96.7% overlap with that one. These are not statistically relevant. It's the same portfolio, man, except for 1 year. It's the same portfolio. You can't say this statistically is relevant because they're the exact same thing. You can even go back to 1885 right here. From 1885 to 1914, another 30-year time frame, that's got a 46.7% overlap to this guy. And I guess you can make an argument, I don't think it's valid, say, well, it's less than 50% overlap, so it's statistically relevant. It's just not. There's too much similarities between these. And then you just look at this right here, right there, it's still over 50%. The point being is when you actually look at retirement planning and you look at statistically relevant retirement planning, And you go back to 1871, we only have like 5 unique observations. That's it. And if you go back to 1926, I think we got like 3. So 1871 to 1900 is 1. 1901 to 1930 is 2. 1931 to 1960 is 3. 1961 to, was that 1990, I guess, right? Yeah. 1990 before, and then 1991 to basically now would be 5. We got 5 unique scenarios. That's it, man. All these other ones are just the same information 96% of the time, just not statistically relevant. So don't make that mistake. Don't make the mistake saying, look, I ran these numbers and it shows I'm great. You just don't know. The overlapping of this stuff makes it so, look, it's just the same portfolio time and time again, except for small differences. My man Michael Edis is a mathematician. I've interviewed him a couple of times, and I like him. He's out of Hong Kong. He's held the financial industry. He does great because he holds the financial industry accountable for their lack of knowledge on basic math, and he crushes. He had written an article about this probably 10 to 15 years ago, and I remember reading it. I said, whoa, I had never thought about it like this. I did the same thing. The rolling 30-year time frame. So we got, 115 rolling 30-year time frames starting in 1871 or something like that. And I always thought, yeah, that's a lot of evidence. It's just not. It's no different than saying, let's see, in 1990, we had the 49ers won the Super Bowl. They were the reigning dynasty team from the 80s. Thus, the 49ers will win the Super Bowl again and again and again. And I don't think, has it happened? No, I don't think they've won the Super Bowl since like 1992 or something like that. It's no different saying that. It's no different saying the Patriots won back-to-back in 2002 and 2003. Thus, they will be the Super Bowl champions going forward again and again and again. It just, they won 3, which is amazing, but they haven't. And that's the same thing here. It's the exact same thing. You just don't know what the future holds, man. And so because we have to acknowledge we don't know. Now, we can speculate that stocks will provide us a better rate of return because of stock earnings, stock dividends, and there's no upside to the level of stock growth. There is none. There is a complete upside to bonds. That's why bonds are called fixed income. So we can speculate that stocks, because they're biased to the upside, where bonds are fixed, we can speculate that stocks will do better. I do that. I speculate that. What I'm saying, because of earnings growth year over year plus dividend yield, and the unlimited upside, which I talk about in my course, which you should buy. I think you still have a couple more weeks to buy at half price. Just use coupon code half off. Anyway, so we can speculate that, and that's fine. But you can't sit there and say, oh, it's been proven that stocks will do this, because it just hasn't. You haven't proven it. You haven't. It's been proven the Chiefs will win the Super Bowl because they won 2 straight back-to-back, because the NFL loves them some Taylor Swift, and they love the idea of Travis Kelce, which, is he really into Taylor Swift? You think Travis is really into Taylor? You know what I'm saying? I don't know, just throwing it out there for your Chiefs fans. You think Travis is going to have kids anytime soon? I don't think so. Anyway, that's going to make some serious people mad at me. Dude, relax. It's funny. Funny old Travis and Taylor. Yeah, something very fishy about that. So anyway, the point being is, what we do is we go into retirement recognizing we got to be in defense mode first. We're not shooting for growth anymore. We're shooting for protection. If you want to shoot for growth, I don't care. You do whatever you want to do. I'm just saying the vast majority of people, in my experience, they're like, look, I'd like to get some growth, but I need to make sure I don't lose. Like what happened in 2007, 8, 9. So that guy, Greg, I guarantee he's never been retired and has gone down 55% in 2007, 8, 9, on top of taking another 8% a year out. He's never done that, because if he did, he would know he'd be broke. That's all there is to it, man. 2007, 8, 9, you're taking 8% a year out because Portfolio Visualizer said you could, and you started in 2007, 8, 9, you're done for. That's just all there is to it, man. If you had all stocks, you're done. You're never going to recoup that. So anyway, there you go. We have to play defense in retirement. And you play offense while you're still working, that's fine. But in retirement, it's playing defense, regardless of what these numbers say, because they're just not statistically relevant. All right, love your thoughts. Comment the doobie-dook, and we'll see you guys later. God bless.